Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are watching Disney's theories that will ruin your childhood.
Disney fans and haters alike, brace yourselves because your nostalgia is about to be shaken to its core. Today we're diving into the most disturbing Disney theories out there. From eerie character connections to the secretly sinister symbols used by characters and Disney Parks employees, get ready to make your final wish upon a star. Let's explore the twisted Disney theories that will ruin your childhood. Scarred for life. Ask any millennial about...
Yeah, probably will actually bloody blow your mind. What you see on this spot. We'll find out.
Their most traumatizing movie moment, and many are sure to mention the stampede scene from Disney's 1994 classic, The Lion King. But as fans grew up, some began to wonder, what happened to Mufasa's body? Well, we might finally have the answer, and it's not pretty. The last time we see Mufasa's body, Scar is standing beside it as Simba runs away, pursued by the hyenas. Later, after some coming-of-age shenanigans with Timon and Pumbaa, we flash back to the Pride Lands where we see Scar and an encaged Zazu. In the scene, Scar picks his teeth with bone fragments before producing a skull and holding it in his paw. Disturbingly, some eagle-eyed fans suggest this skull belongs to none other than Mufasa, and that Scar ate his dead brother and kept his bones as trophies. I mean, it certainly looks like a lion skull, but you might be thinking, later in the movie it's heavily implied the hyenas attack and eat Scar upon his defeat. So if this is in fact Mufasa's skull, you'd assume it was the work of the hyenas and not Scar himself, which is still pretty disturbing, but it may not be that simple. It's true that spotted hyenas, the species shown in The Lion King, are known scavengers and will eat just about anything. To them, an abandoned lion carcass is nothing short of an all-you-can-eat buffet. So, logic follows they ate Mufasa's remains. But here's the kicker. Hyenas are known for their practice of osteophagia. That is, the act of eating bones. So if the hyenas had eaten Mufasa, it's likely there'd be nothing left of him at all. So the question remains, is it really possible that Scar is responsible? While it has been proven that lions can eat other lions, it's exceptionally rare and only happens in extreme situations. Most recorded instances of lions eating other lions happen during territorial disputes where a lion attempting to take leadership of a pride will kill and occasionally eat cubs to assert dominance. So in reality, Scar would have been more likely to chow down on Simba had he stuck around. As for the skull, while it does resemble a lion skull, it's arguably closer to a baboon skull, a creature frequently eaten by lions. All that aside, the inclusion of the skull may be more symbolic. While most Disney movies are based on fairy tales and folklore, The Lion King is loosely based on William Shakespeare's tragedy Hamlet. In one of the play's most famous scenes, the titular character holds up a human skull during one of his monologues. So it's quite possible the skull Scar pulls out is merely a reference to Hamlet's most recognizable motif. Nevertheless, I still wouldn't put it past Scar to keep his brother's skull if the opportunity presented itself. What do you say, Scar?
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Jesus Christ. Skip quick.
The Disney Point. If you've ever visited a Disney park, it's easy to see that everything from the rides to the snacks are meticulously designed to delight guests at every turn. But some visitors have noticed something potentially sinister about a specific gesture used by park staff. If you ask a Disney park staff member for directions, you'll see that instead of pointing with just one finger, they always use two. While seemingly pretty innocuous, some have suggested this gesture has disturbing origins. You see, Walt Disney was a prolific smoker and reportedly worked through around 3 packs of cigarettes per day. This meant he was constantly gesturing with 2 fingers because a cigarette was dangling between them. In an effort to hide this habit from the kids who visited the parks, Disney began doctoring the pictures to edit the cigarettes out, meaning Walt always looked like he used this strange two-finger point. When astute parkgoers began making the connection between the way cast members were pointing in pictures of Walt, they concluded it was meant as an homage to Disney's smoking habit. But in reality, the similarity between the two gestures is much more likely a simple coincidence. Reportedly, the real reason cast members always point with two fingers is to universally enhance guest experience. Disney parks welcome visitors from all over the world, and in some cultures, particularly Asian cultures, pointing with your index finger is considered extremely rude and disrespectful. So, Disney cast members are instructed to point with their index and middle fingers together, providing the most polite guidance possible. While the truth behind the Disney point isn't so mysterious after all, there's another baffling hand gesture connected to the company that's been right under our noses from the beginning. Some fans have noticed various Disney characters across the decades using this peculiar hand gesture, often in place of pointing. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It crops up just about everywhere, from Snow White to Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, and these are just the ones I found so far. But what does it mean? When looked at side by side, it's easy to draw parallels between the gestures seen in various Disney cartoons and a real-world hand gesture known as the Sign of the Horns. Often used in rock concerts, the gesture has gained a rather sinister reputation, with claims that it symbolizes support for the devil. Is Snow White a secret rock and roller, or an acolyte of the Dark Lord himself? Well, a conspiracy that Disney is subliminally encouraging children into Satanism is sure to turn a few heads. In reality, folks may have been misinterpreting the sign's true meaning. Originally, these devil horns come from superstition and are actually a sign used to ward off evil, not embrace it. On top of that, some people, like Tony Sirico of Sopranos fame, do simply point with a horn-like gesture, so it could just be a way of animators adding a little variety to a scene. While we can't rule out that Disney intentionally included this symbol, it's still a little uncertain just why this hand gesture appears so frequently. Can you explain this mysterious symbol? Leave your theories in the comments below. Whoa, what's this? It's only our brand new, fun and frantic trivia card game we've been developing for years. We've packed it full of all our most interesting facts, and whenever another player thinks you're wrong, they can cut you off with a catastrophic nuh-uh. Steal your opponent's cards and risk your own in nuh-uh. And if trivia isn't your strong suit, don't worry. All the questions in nuh-uh are multiple choice, meaning eggheads and non-eggheads alike. Simply a pretty clear line between good and evil. But this next theory suggests that two characters on opposite ends of the scale may in fact be the same person. What if Mother Gothel from Tangled is actually Megara from Hercules? I know it sounds wild. Meg is a hero while Gothel is a villain, and they lived centuries apart. But Flynn explains in Tangled's introduction that Mother Gothel has lived for centuries thanks to the rejuvenating powers of the magical Sundrop Flower. But where did the Sundrop Flower come from? In Tangled, we learn the magic flower grows from a drop of sun that fell from the sky and hit Earth. But what if this story is just a muddled metaphorical myth within Rapunzel's world? What if the flower's power actually comes from the son of a god, not the sun in the sky? Think about it. The animation of the golden droplet in Tangled closely mirrors the scene of Hercules falling to Earth. Hades even calls Hercules Sunspot multiple times in the movie. Plus, remember how immortality in Hercules is depicted with a golden glow? That's strikingly similar to the Sundrop Flower and Rapunzel's glowing hair. The theory suggests that after Hercules gave up his immortal life to be with Meg, and he subsequently died a mortal death, Meg became obsessed with possessing anything representing her lover. The flower, of which the immortality-given powers and glow may have seemed to represent Hercules, left Meg desiring ownership of it. If Mother Gothel really is Meg, this might explain how she became so twisted over time. Meg was heartbroken after being abandoned by her ex-boyfriend before meeting Hercules. Then Herc gave up his immortality for her, only to die later, leaving her devastated and abandoned once again. Over time, her cynicism towards love returned, making her self-absorbed, vain, and obsessive. If the golden flower entangled is linked to Hercules, it could be the last remnants of him, ironically keeping Meg as Gothel alive, and later flowing through Rapunzel, whose hair carries the flower's power. Perhaps the biggest piece of evidence of all is both Meg and Gothel use a certain unique phrase.
Oh, stop it, you big lug. Get out of there, you big lug, while you still can.
Coincidence? Despite all the evidence, there's one big problem. Gothel uses the sundrop flower to maintain a youthful appearance. If she were Meg, she should surely look pretty much identical to how we see Meg in Hercules, right? Then again, the animation styles are different, so how can we know for sure? Well, we can't. So I'll leave it up to you to decide. If the Mother Megara theory hasn't convinced you, there's another Gothel origin theory you might find a little more fruitful. If you've seen Tangled, you'll know Rapunzel's tower is covered in paintings and symbols. But did you know one of them may offer another hint to Gothel's former identity? Some say this red apple is evidence that Gothel is actually the evil queen from Snow White. Consider this, both are obsessed with making themselves appear youthful and use magic to achieve this. In Snow White, the evil queen falls off a cliff, but we never see her body. And remember where Mother Gothel found the sundrop flower? At the bottom of a cliff. She even wears a similar dark cloak and is almost a dead ringer for the evil queen in her old form. Not only that, but both stories are thought to be set in Germany, in line with their fairy tale origins, though some suggest Tangled could take place in Poland. Neither location has been officially specified, but a larger issue with this theory is the timeline. Snow White is estimated to be set in the 1500s, while Tangled is thought to occur no earlier than the late 1700s. If Gothel is the evil queen, she would have been at the bottom of that cliff for over 200 years before finding the flower, which seems improbable given Gothel's reliance on it to maintain her immortality. But which Mother Gothel origin theory do you think is more plausible? Let me know in the comments below. Pudge controls the weather. Lilo and Stitch is one of Disney's most emotional and arguably underrated movies. But one fan theory casts a sad shadow on the story with a tragic yet credible twist. When we're first introduced to Lilo, we see her arrive late to hula class because she was paying a weekly visit to Pudge, the fish, to bring him a peanut butter sandwich. When asked why she visits him, Lilo says it's because Pudge, a fish, controls the weather.
Pudge controls the weather.
While this might just seem like a way to highlight Lilo's character quirks, some fans believe her obsession with Pudge has dark origins. Later in the movie, it's revealed Lilo's parents died in a car accident on a rainy night, and it's implied the bad weather was the cause of the crash. But who does Lilo believe controls the weather? Pudge. So it's quite possible that Lilo thinks Pudge is responsible for her parents' death, feeds him in the hopes he won't bring rainstorms and cause more accidents. But how exactly would an ordinary fish have the power to manipulate the weather? Well, some fans have suggested Pudge isn't really a fish at all, but actually Maui from Moana. And the evidence is surprisingly compelling. For starters, Lilo and Stitch is set in modern-day Hawaii, while Moana is set in ancient Polynesia, albeit a fictionalized version. Both locations are part of the Polynesian Triangle, and we also know that Maui lived for over 1,000 years before he met Moana, and is essentially immortal, meaning it's likely he lived through to Lilo's era. As a demigod, Maui can control the sun and wind, and is able to shapeshift into a variety of animals, including fish. So, if you add it all up, it's plausible that a transformed Maui might have caused a rainstorm, leading to the accident that killed Lilo's parents. But why would Maui do this? In Moana, we see firsthand that Maui can be mischievous and sometimes careless when it comes to his powers. Despite appearing reformed by the end of Moana, it's possible that Maui could have returned to his antics unknowingly or knowingly, causing the tragedy in Lilo's life. Well, that certainly paints Maui's most famous song in a new light. Hey Lilo, you're welcome. Dang. The loincloth hypothesis. Disney's Tarzan has sparked many fan theories. There's even one claiming he could be Anna and Elsa's brother after their parents washed ashore post-shipwreck. But today we're addressing the biggest question of all, a little more literally than any of us will feel comfortable with. The question, why does Tarzan wear a loincloth if he was raised by gorillas? When going about their lives in the jungle, gorillas let it all hang out. So how is it that Tarzan comes up with the idea to wear a loincloth to protect his modesty? Well, there's one outrageous theory that might offer an answer, and it's even backed by science. According to researchers, relative to total body size, humans have larger private parts compared to our closest ape relatives, including chimpanzees, orangutans, and gorillas. Even the largest gorilla males that are more than twice as heavy as the average human male have Mr. Gorilla Jr.'s half the size in comparison. So logic dictates that Tarzan likely had a larger manhood than the gorillas he grew up with. Alongside his lack of fur, this could have easily led to teasing and bullying from the other gorillas or violent jealousy. So in a nutshell, Tarzan might have started wearing a makeshift loincloth simply to fit in or not make his fellow gorillas feel so inadequate. I guess unlike this theory, some things really are just too big to be kept uncovered.
I don't know.
Baby reindeer. One of Disney's biggest hits, Frozen, tells a heartwarming story of sisterhood. But did you know the movie may also be hiding a chilling detail related to motherhood? As you probably know, the movie features a lovable reindeer called Sven, the sidekick of certified fixer-upper Kristoff. However, the truth behind the duo's history takes a dark twist when you start to notice the eerie similarities between the lining of Kristoff's tunic and Sven's fur. This led some fans to a worrying conclusion. Kristoff's jacket is made from reindeer pelt, and specifically that of Sven's own late mother. It sounds absurd at first, but in the context of the story, it makes sense. When we first see Sven and Kristoff, they're with Arendelle's ice harvesters in the frozen wilderness where resources are scarce. Practically speaking, any reindeer unsuitable for labor would likely be used for meat and pelts, their skin and fur. We're never told what happened to Sven's mom, so it's possible that if she became too old or sick to contribute, she was likely killed for her pelt, which then became part of Kristoff's tunic. Being an orphan himself, it's probable the young Kristoff forged a sort of trauma bond with the newly orphaned baby reindeer, but that's not even the most disturbing part. It's been suggested that Sven can smell his mother on Kristoff's clothing, which is why he follows him around with such unyielding loyalty. But it gets worse. In real life, scent plays a huge role for reindeer calves in identifying their mom. If Kristoff is wearing the skin of Sven's mother and thus her scent, it's very possible the baby reindeer grew up believing Kristoff is his mother. So in truth, you could say Sven's relationship with Kristoff may be less buddy-buddy and more mama's boy. Now that's darn creepy. Let's hope it's just a wacky theory. But the creepy details don't end there. Frozen is full of Disney's signature Easter eggs. Mickey Mouse hidden in a bookshelf, Rapunzel arriving at Elsa's coronation, but there's one other shadowy figure in attendance I'll bet you never noticed. Could it be Slender Man? Well, probably not. Despite being an authentic part of the movie's animation, it's most likely the lack of face is more a case of animator slip-up than actually being the famous internet horror story star. But maybe that's what Slender Man wants you to think. Beastly bombshells. In Beauty and the Beast, Belle explores the enchanted castle and ventures into the mysterious West Wing. There she finds the enchanted rose encased in glass, surrounded by masses of dusty, broken furniture. But wait a minute. Elsewhere in the castle, similar objects like Lumiere and Cogsworth are revealed to be cursed castle subjects transformed into furniture, which raises a chilling question. What happened in the West Wing? One dark theory suggests that when the Beast first transformed, his closest attendants rushed to his aid, only to be turned into furniture themselves by the Enchantress's curse. Confused and enraged by his transformation, the Beast destroyed the furniture, running towards him, not realizing they were his own subjects. Thus, the West Wing became a graveyard filled with the remains of those who once served the prince. The theory makes even more sense when you think about it. If it's true the West Wing is the perfect spot to stash the enchanted rose because everyone's too afraid to face the furniture-human hybrid carcasses in there. But the West Wing may not be the only place harboring former castle inhabitants. Remember the wolves Beast rescues Belle from after she attempts to flee the castle? Some fans think that these wolves attack Belle to urge her back to the castle to break the curse. Why? Because they were also touched by the Enchantress's spout and are the castle's former guards. Boom. Of course, the fact that Beast seemingly kills one of them may throw some doubt over this theory, but you can't defeat a curse without breaking a few wolf spines, as I always say.
I wish I'd shot this photo at a wider angle, but I can change that with Adobe Photoshop. You don't need to reshoot. Just open your image, select the crop tool, and make sure that Generative Expand is selected in the drop-down menu. Drag the corners of your image to your desired size and hit enter. Then you just select your favorite from the variations it gives you, and now...
Wrath of the Genie. In the beloved tale of Aladdin, our hero wishes to become a prince to win the heart of Princess Jasmine. In the end, he prevails, and they all live happily ever after. Have you ever stopped to wonder how the genie's magic would really work to fulfill such a wish? Well, one theory may have the answer, and it's truly horrifying. When Aladdin wished to become a prince, the theory goes that rather than just granting him wealth and status, the genie made Aladdin a true prince by secretly integrating him into an existing royal family's bloodline. In the context of Agrabah, a prince by definition would typically mean the son of the reigning monarch, which in this case is the Sultan. So technically speaking, the most straightforward way to make Aladdin a prince was to make him the son of the Sultan. But that means, that's right, it would make Aladdin Jasmine's brother. The genie is known for his playful and mischievous nature, and so by making Aladdin Jasmine's brother, he would technically fulfill the wish with gross consequences. However, this theory kinda falls apart considering that Aladdin becomes Prince Ali of Ababwa, not Agrabah, meaning the likelihood of him becoming related to Jasmine is 0 to none. But that doesn't mean there aren't other potentially sinister consequences to the wish. Aladdin's wish was not to seem like a prince, but to be one. This implies a kingdom to rule. Thus, the genie had two options: overthrow an existing kingdom's rulers or create a new one. Given that Jafar hadn't heard of Ababwa, it's possible the genie created an entire kingdom out of thin air. This means creating citizens, buildings, animals, and an economy. But how did he do this? Did the genie create life or kidnap people? When Jafar undid the wish, what happens to these people? Did Genie erase them? The implications are terrifying. While these are just theories, it does make you wonder about the mechanics of the Genie's wish-granting abilities. So if you ever find yourself in possession of a magic lamp, best to be as specific as possible with your wishes. You've been warned. Dead men tell no tales. Famously known as the happiest place on Earth, a visit to Disney's theme parks is on almost every kid's bucket list. However, what I'm about to show you may make you think twice about stepping onto their grounds. Over the years, there have been numerous claims of ghostly presences lurking at various Disney parks, and some have allegedly been caught on camera. Check out this clip from 2009 captured by a worker reviewing CCTV footage of a maintenance test at the California Park's Tower of Terror. Did you see it? No, I'm not referring to the dude's hat falling off, exposing the ghost of Hairline's past. Let's slow these clips down. Spooky, huh? We see a couple of strange human-shaped figures up here intermittently, and while there's no official explanation for this, some online have theorized that the glitches may either be the result of distortion of worn recording tape, or some glitchy combination of other footage of people on the ride merged through some compiling error. Others are certain that we're seeing ghostly specters, but I'll leave that up to you. This footage, also captured at the Tower of Terror ride, is equally tricky to explain. Just outside the window, it looks like a ghost is sitting on the ledge and then vanishes. One possible explanation outside of anything paranormal is that the ride does include ghostly holograms, though it's difficult to make out any glass the hologram may be being projected onto. While these creepy clips may simply be a result of light trickery or camera glitches, we can't say for sure. This isn't Disney's only potentially deadly secret, because of course to haunt Disneyland you presumably need to pass away there. And while most expect to have the time of their life at a Disney theme park, get this, supposedly no one is allowed to die at Disneyland. This popular theory suggests that Disney can claim no one has ever met their maker in their parks because they ensure any victims are taken off the property before being officially declared deceased. Unsurprisingly, Disney has never directly addressed these accusations, but some former employees claim it's company policy to avoid on-site declarations of guests passing away. But is it really true? The legitimacy of this legend hinges on the distinction between actual death and declared death. In California, the site of the original Disneyland, legal declarations of death can usually only be done by a physician or a coroner, and not paramedics. So if paramedics were called to Disneyland and someone passed away, the official certification wouldn't happen until reaching a medical facility. So regardless of any fabled no-death policy on Disney's part, it's kind of the law. In reality, though, there have been instances of these kinds of declarations on Disney property when the appropriate authorities have been at the scene. For example, a plane crash at Epcot in 1984 and a bus accident at Disneyland in 1985 both resulted in on-site declarations. More recently, a worker at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort in Florida was also pronounced deceased at the scene in 2018 following a utility cart accident. I guess while dead men tell no tales, documented cases of on-site Disney demises suggest that this legend is more creepy myth than truth. What do you make of these wild Disney theories? Do you have any of your own dark theories?
To be honest with you, mine's blown from most of them, but I got from it. Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment if you liked the video. Well, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And comment down what you want to see me react to or play next. Bye, peace.